Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Shubham and you're watching Let's Create an App. So this is part 6 of auto layout and constraint video series. So in previous 5 parts we have covered various things like multipliers, aspect ratio, how we can create tab bar and change the root, how we can manage the code, or how we can make our view controllers free from designing code. All the code related to the design are placed in the class and we simply assign that class to the specific views. So we have covered various things and various topics in the previous video, and if you really want to learn something about auto layouts and constraints, how we can give constraints to the views, you can go and watch out the previous videos. The link of the videos and the series are mentioned in the description as well as on the I button. You can go and watch the videos. So in this video we are going to cover something like this screen. So this is a screen which we are going to cover in this video, that is a ticket screen. Till so far we have created over here. So this is complete travel app UI in which we have covered all these screens. Now we are going to cover this ticket screen. So in this screen we have 3 buttons, multiple text fields and a single flight search flight button. So we are going to create this thing in this video. So now let's start it, and if you like this video please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you are new to the channel please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get the notifications of all my other videos. So let's start the video. Let's create an app. Now let's move to the Xcode, and we have left this previous tutorial over here. So we have created these views. Now we have to make these views a clickable view. So for that we have two approaches. We will make these views tappable by using a tap gesture, or we can simply draw one button on these views and make the button clickable. So simply just take a simple button, something like this, and drag and drop this button on these views, something like this, and assign from all the 4 sides to this button a 0 0 0, simply like this. So by doing this thing we have make this view a clickable view. Just take an action of this view. So we have to make all the 3 views something like this. Similarly take one more button and assign this button to this view, or drag and drop this button over this view. From all the 4 sides let's make 0 0, and change the property just like this, and one more button simply like this. I don't know why my system is get lagging, uh, maybe because of some workload. From all the 4 sides it's 0, like this. So we have created a buttons on these views. Now we can make these views a clickable views. So now let's go to the class of this controller. Okay, so there is no class is assigned to this controller, so let's create one class first and then we will proceed further. So I guess this is a home controller, so let's create one more controller. In the control folder, click on this new file and select a Cocoa Touch class and give it a home view controller and click on next, and just create this file over here. Now assign this file to that controller. Something like this, and also give a storyboard identifier as same as home controller, something like this. Now we have to create the outlets of these views so that we can make these things a clickable thing. So let's move to the home view controller and just create the actions for these buttons. So just remove this code, we don't need this code at all. Now just click on this view and click on like this, on click plane like this. Similarly on click train like this, and one more time by for car, on click car, something like this. So we have created 3 actions for 3 different buttons. Now we have to move on the next screen, just like uh, on this screen after clicking on any of these things. So this thing will become as user tap accordingly. For example, if a user tap on plane, then there is a plane. If user tap on train, then this thing will be train, and as user tap on car, this thing will be car. So we will learn how we can make this thing. So let's first take one more view controller so that we can design that thing. So just click on this thing and just drag and drop view controller. So now let's look into the image that what we have to create. So first we have to take this one blue view, which is little bit smaller than this view, and we have to take one image over here. So let's copy this thing by pressing an alt key and just give a basic constraints to this view, like from all the three sides we have to make this thing as 0, and we don't need this label, so remove this label and reduce the height of this view just like 200. This will be good, I guess. Yeah, so now let's take one more image which is top on this view. So let's take this an image view and just reduce the size of this image according to our need. So I think this will be a good image size according to our need. And let's fix the height and width of this image, because we don't need to vary the size of this image according to the screen, and make this thing as a horizontal in container. So we are not having exactly this kind of image just like a white background and a plane, but yeah, whatever we have, we can assign this thing. So we have a plain image, so plain. I think this is a good image, so that's cool. Now we have to make these three buttons. So for that, first we have to take one more view. So let's take a UI view, something like this, and let's drag and drop over here, and we have to stretch this thing till over here, and let's give a basic constraint just like from 20 left and right, 20 from top, and it should be a height of like uh, 40, and that will be great, something like this. Now let's change the color so that we can identify this thing that yeah, there is some view. So this is a view, background view of these buttons. Now let's take three buttons again. So just take one button and drag and drop this button on this view. So this button is a sub view of this parent view, or that small that view. So now let's copy these button into three different buttons. So I guess we have copied this button in three different. Now let's change the text for this button. So the text are round, one way and multi. So let's change this thing to round. This is one way and this is multi, something like this. And the background color of this button is like, I guess, blue, and this one, and the color text of these buttons are like blue, and the background color is, sorry, text color is blue and the background color is white. Same thing for this multi button, background color is white and the text color is this blue one. So this is till so far we have created. Now let's give a basic constraints to these buttons. So now we are going to learn how we can make the buttons equally distributed sizes. So let's put these three things in a stack like this, and let's make this thing 0 space between these three buttons, and give us text a constraint of like from all the four sides it should be 0, like this. Now we have to equally distribute this stack view. So in distribution we have to put this fill equally. So by doing this thing, all the three buttons having an equal width. So this is very awesome thing. So by just simply doing these things, we can get a very cool design. Now let's move to the view controller and do some coding related to these views. So let's move to the controller. I guess we didn't assign this thing a controller. Okay, so let's give a controller to this view controller, class to this view controller, and this is like ticket view controller. You can give other name also, it's totally up to you. Now let's assign this class to this controller. This is a ticket controller, ticket view controller, and storyboard name is also ticket view controller. Now let's do some coding. So for that, first take this back view, this one, and okay, so now let's back view. Now take all three buttons, button round. And if you don't know why I'm always using a button as a in this thing, so you can uh, also use this kind of pattern, because this helps in, okay, we have given a same name twice, button multi, and we have to change this thing to button one way, something like this, and just assign this thing to this and assign this thing to this button. So I guess we have corrected. Okay, fine, we have created all the three buttons and this view outlet. Now let's design these buttons also first, and then we will proceed in changing the color of selected button and non-selected button. So button round dot, so we have already created a method for rounding this thing. So the method name is design button, and in this we have to pass the border width. So right now we are not having any kind of border width, and border color is also clear. And I've in this method I've already defined that what radius we needed. So this is almost just what we want actually, the half of the circle, this corner radius is. So now let's make this thing also one view button also the same thing, design border width, and that is also 0 and dot clear, and the same for button multi dot design button, and this is 0 and this is dot clear. So this is done, but for back view we need to write one more method, because these buttons are only this method is only for button class. So let's create this extension, one more extension for UI view. So just write extension UI view, and we just need to copy this method, and we need to place over here and just change to design view, something like this, so we can get this method over there. Or you can also create one more extension class to this, and you can write this method over here. Oh yeah, we have a UI view plus design extension, so we can paste this method on over there. So just simply cut this thing and move on UI design view extension, and just paste a class over here. So basically this is a class. We can change the name of this class also, that it's not exactly a extension, it's a class. So we can do this thing, that custom button, similarly like we can make this as a custom view. So you can do according to your need. Now let's move to this ticket view and dot design view, I guess, yeah. And in this we have to provide a border of 0.5 pixel, and the color is just like a dark gray or a light gray. So for that I'm using a color literal. So just double tap on this thing and select a color what you want. So now let's run this thing and check that it is working fine or not. It will showing us the this kind of scenario, what we actually trying to do. So let's see is it working or not. So our application is get run. Now we are not connected the controller which we have created, the ticket view controller, to this any of these buttons. So let's connect this thing first, then we will able to move on that screen. So for connecting the screen we have to create one very view controller object. So for that I'm just typing guard let ticket controller equals to storyboard dot initiate view controller with identification, and the identification is what which we have provided to that view controller on which we are going to move. So as ticket view controller, so the identification is also same as this, so just paste over here, else it will put an fatal error that it's unable to create, unable oh, to create ticket view controller, ticket view controller, something like this, so that whenever application get crashed over here, and we will know that yeah, it's unable to create a ticket view controller. Now we have to push the controller on ticket view controller, so for that we have to use a navigation controller dot push view controller, and in this we have to pass this ticket view controller, not this one, the object ticket controller, and the animation is true. So now let's run this thing and check that it is working fine or not, and we are successfully able to move on ticket view controller or not. So this is run, and on the click of this plane we are successfully able to move on the ticket view controller. But if you guys are able to see that we are getting a very gray spaces from all the four side, and that's not looking good as the image. So let's make the background color of that view to again white, so that we can make it very clearly visible. So let's select that view, back view, and change that back view color to white, this one. And apart from that, it's looking cool, everything is working correctly fine. Now let's change the color of the this selected tab and not selected tab. So let's click on this thing and it's not changing color, so let's make that thing. So for that, let's move on the controller on which we have to write the code. Now for changing the color, we are going to create the outlets of or the actions of these buttons also first. So let's create the actions of these buttons. So this is button round. Oh, my mistake that we are not supposed to write the actions something like this. This is action. We have to use on click round, something like this, and we can copy this thing and change the on click one way, and this is on click multi. So we have created three actions. Now just connect these things to the different buttons, something like this. Now we need to create one function, so that function is only responsible for changing the background color and text color of these three buttons. So let's create one function, and the function is just like change button color, something like this. It's up to you that what name you want to provide, and this function will take 6 parameters. So let's first make the room for the coding. So let's remove the storyboard thing, and now we have to take 6 parameters in this function. So it will take background color as well as of so it will take background color as well as text color of this button. So just first, that is round color, because the name of the button is round, so it is of UI color type, something like this. Now let's copy this thing and paste 3 times, and this is one way color, and this is multicolor, something like this. And now we have to take the text color also. So round text color, T should be capital, and again that is one way text color, and the third one is multi text color, something like this. So now we have taken our 6 parameters. Now we have to assign these things, these parameters or these values to the specific buttons. So for that, first take a round thing, button round dot background color. This is a background color, and the background color should be like the round color, I guess. Yeah, same thing, button one way dot background color is equals to one way color, and the third is button multi dot background color is equals to multicolor, something like this. Now we have to change the text color for this thing to button round dot set title color, and in this title color we have to pass the round text title color. So round text color, and it is for normal state. Similarly we have to copy this thing and paste over here, something like this. Remove the extra space, and this is for button one way, this is for button multi, and we have to change the text color over here, that is one way color, and this is for multicolor, something like this. So our function is ready, but still we have a problem with this function, that we need to provide each and everything whenever we call this change button color method. So we don't need to provide each and everything, we only need to provide the things which we only want. So for like in this round color, let's give our default value to dot white. So let's copy this thing and paste where we want, that like over here also and over here also. And in this text color we need to provide a color literal thing, because it will come with blue color, that is a default color for our application. So let's select this thing blue color. Over here again we need to provide a color literal like this. Okay, it's not showing, I don't know why, this thing. And over here we also have to use color literal like this. So we have provided a default values to all the parameters, so we only need to pass the things which we want. So for example, if I want to make this, whenever user tap on this round button, so it will change the color of round color and round text color. So we need to call this method change button, this one, and we also this one, and in this we only need to use the parameters which we want. So that is round color, something like this, and that is this is the background color of the round button, so that is blue. So we need to use a color literal, and the text color should be changed to white. So for that I'm just copying this property and calling this thing over here, and that is dot white, something like this. So this is what only need to do, and it will automatically work. So just paste this thing over here and change this round button to one way button, or you can also copy this property and also change the one way text color property, and this is again change a color for this multi also. So our methods are ready. Now let's run this thing and check that it is working fine or not. So just play this thing and check that it is working fine or not. So click on this thing, and we have moved on this thing, and this is completely looking what we have seen in this image, something like this. Now let's tap these things, and as I tap on this thing, it's not coming with the title color, is not coming in the correct way. So let's debug this thing, and the titles are okay. Yeah, we are not have given a text property to them, we have given some different properties to them, multi text color, these properties. So now let's run this thing and check that it is again now working fine or not. So let's play again. So now they are working completely fine, and we don't need to worry about the code, everything is written only in this single method. So we don't need to change the things over here, we only need to change the things over here if we want some other functionalities on these buttons. So now let's uh, create a further UI, so that is which we have in this image, and that is these 6 text fields. So we need to take one UI text field and one UI view and put that both the things in a stack. we have already done this thing many times previously. So just take a text field and one more thing, that is UI view, something like this, and just reduce the size of this UI view because both the things will take spaces like this in a stack view. And now let's change the color of first UI view, and that should be like light gray, and we need to fix the height of this UI view to 0.5, something like this. Now let's put this thing together and let's make it on some center and reduce the spacing to 0. And one more thing, that it is aligned to trailing, let put it to fill, something like this. And now let's give the height to this text field to like 40 or 38. It's up to you what you want to give, and make it to border style to be dotted. So by doing this thing, we are able to successfully create this text field, something like this. Now we have to make this thing six things similarly. So just copy this thing by pressing alt key and paste over here, so it's looking cool. Now select this stack view again and copy this thing. So we have successfully created 6 stack views. Now we have to put these stack views again in a stack view. So just these stack view in a single stack view, just simply like this. And we need to remove the space between two, reduce the space between to 16, something like this. Now again, now select the all 3 stack views and put all the 3 stack views in a single stack. And now let's give the constraints to this stack view. So the constraint from top, it should be like uh, 30 or 40, it's up to you, 40. And from left and right, it should be 30. So something like this. So now we need to remove these issues. Just like there is a red mark, means the constraints are not satisfying. Yes, definitely the constraints will not satisfy because this is not coming perfectly. So we need to change the distribution to fill equally, and we need to do this thing for all 3 stacks, 3 parent stacks, fill equally. So after creating this thing, all the issues are gone. Now let's give the placeholders to these text fields. So the first is from and to, so the placeholder is from. And we need to provide the left views to every text field. So we will going to do this thing in a coding part. Now we need to add a button, just like an image we have search flights. So just drag and drop one button over here, something like this, and just change the title or title like search flight, something like this, search flights, something like this. And the text color should be like white, and the background color should be like blue. And we have to make the height like 40 pixels, that is good. And from both the sides, or we can also fix the width like 140, and from top it should be like 40 pixels. And we have to make this thing center horizontal, something like this. Now we also need some kind of a scroll view over here, because maybe when type on, we have make this to or from field selected, then there is some kind of a keyboard and we need to move the views at the top. So we need scroll view behind this, all these things, so we can put scroll view. And if you don't know how to put scroll view, you can go and watch the previous video also, or I've already also have a dedicated video on scroll view. So you get these links in the description, you can go and check out this thing. And in the next video, we are going to create the right views on these text fields, just like we have an image, just these images, as well as we are going to cover this screen. We are not going to cover this screen, I guess we have already covered this kind of screen over here, just similarly screen but with some different changes. So you can you guys can create this thing according to you accordingly. Now we are going to create this screen, and I guess these 3 screens are having great learning things as aspect of auto layouts and constraints. So please don't forget to watch these videos. And this is for today. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you have any query or suggestion, please post that thing in the comment box. And if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get the notifications of all my other videos. So meet you in the next video. Thank you.